What's up, everybody? Back for another Star Wars video, and we are back with Prydwen's tier list. They actually updated it quite a bit, so let's scroll down real quick. We'll go through the changelog after. It is pretty beefy, but for this time, they said they're going to take a look at pure fiction stuff, and indeed, nothing changed for the MOC or the Apocalyptic Shadow. The only new thing is technically, I guess, Jade, right? Jade actually, funny enough, hasn't been touched even in pure fiction. So literally all they've done is make changes to pure fiction. Man, oh man, the changelog is like, I think it'll fit on the screen. It's pretty damn big, I'm not gonna lie. I'll flash for a second. Yeah, it's pretty damn big, as you just saw. Let's jump into it. I was gonna make a video on Zenless Zone Zero and like my thoughts on it, right? Then I was in Starro and I wanted to check something, and so I opened it up and I saw that the pure fiction list had like different arrows. Like Argenti was right here, and I was like, whoa, hang on, I don't remember Argenti changing. At least I don't think he did. And I was like, hang on, let me take a look at it. And then I noticed that there's a lot of changes, so let's jump into it, right? So Argenti's at 0.5, which I think is fair, I guess. You know, this is Argenti's game mode. This might have to be the thumbnail. I know people are gonna be like, oh my god, it's some clickbait, because I could see some stretches for this being true, but man, this is a crazy ass sight to behold. Acheron, the best DPS in the game. People were scared of how strong she would power creep the game. They said that she was a mistake. All this stuff, right, is in the same tier as Clara, a day 1 standard unit, and Jingyun, not anymore, but debatably one of the worst. I'd say it's fair. One of the worst 5 stars from the premium banner. And they're all in one tier together. That is crazy. Now, I will say, this is the problem with tier lists. You have to be very specific with stuff, and even I still get jumped for stuff, which I'm like, you know, I like to think I know what I'm talking about, and some people are very upset when I put certain characters in certain tiers, but I mean, you can't please everybody, right? But you have to be careful with certain tier lists, because the reason this is the case, right, because I checked the changelog because I was absolutely baffled, right, is they're talking about Acheron's teams and whatnot. However, with the current pure fiction, right, it is favored to follow-up attacks, right? You do 10 follow-up attacks, and then you get a big attack at the end, right? Then the extra effects you can have is pretty much the same thing, but you get it faster and it does more damage. And then the middle one is ultimates, and ultimates charge it, and then just general attacking, right? So it is favored towards follow-up attacks. So there, you know, that's fair. Clara could be up there just because every time she gets, she counterattacks, and that's one follow-up attack. So yeah, that's pretty much why she's there, or, you know, going up. At least, you know, what my thought process is, right? I know why Acheron went down, and we'll get to that when we get to it. Topaz going up is fair. You know, Numby attacks a lot. I'm sure maybe Jade has something to do with it. I'm not too sure. Obviously, I don't have Topaz or Jade, so I haven't been able to test myself. Asta going up is fair because she boosts speed, all that good stuff. Hanya going up, I could see it. Hanya's actually pretty solid. I'm assuming Argenti might be helping with that because Argenti and Hanya are great together. Oh, wow. Physical MC? Wait, hang on. Is Physical MC and Arlen the only character that's in tier 5 for all of them? Hang on, let me look. Yeah, they are, because there's no other tier 5s. Damn! Harmony M, or not Harmony MC, sorry. Physical MC and Arlen are the 2 worst units in the game according to Prydwen, and I can't even fault him on that. Boot Hill going down to tier 5 pure fiction is fair. I mean, there's like, how much you can really do, unless there's one where it's like, if you break the enemy, it breaks everybody kind of thing. He kind of is not that great. Damn, I just realized the 3 physical break buddies are all here. That's funny. Yukon going to tier 5, sure, and Natasha going down to tier 5 is also fair. I'll have to see what the reasoning is, because I feel like, hot take, March is even more useful than Blanks. Like, I know Lynx is better than Natasha, but 2 whole tiers? I don't know about that. I mean, the AoE cleanse, I guess, right? It's cool, but it's not like you really need a healer. We'll have to see, but the craziest one is these two being right next to go. But anyway, let's go to the good old change log. Now, this is going to be crazy. First things first, we have updated the Pure Fiction tier list to include our post-J testing, the meta trends in the last 3 phases of the community feedback. This is another thing that's rough about this tier list. It's not as easily shown that this is a tier list that is going off of the current Pure Fiction, right? Because when you think of MOC, Pure Fiction, Apocalyptic Shadow, you just think of them in general, not just the buffs at the time. And they're pretty good about reflecting the changes. But I think something right here is like current Pure Fiction or Pure Fiction like 12 or something like that. Whatever the Pure Fiction is that we're on would be a bit more helpful. Because if you're looking at this and you're thinking it's just Pure Fiction in general, you're like, why the hell is Acheron so low? Or why is, you know, Topaz so high? Or why is yada yada, like whatever, right? Let's look at what they have to say. Argenti. While in the past, Argenti struggled in phases where physical weak enemies were sparse, things have changed recently. He constantly scores 30k points regardless of the enemy setup and buffs, and even reaches 35k when everything goes his way. That combined with the fact that he isn't reliant on other limited characters to perform well, although they do improve his performance even more, as he can be paired with 4-star supports like Hanya and Ting Yun. It's enough for us to raise him from the meta back to the Apex bracket. We'll continue observing him and his best teams in the next phase to see if other upgrades will be required. Okay. I'm already noticing something. So you can compare with 4-star supports, and it says isn't reliant on other limited characters. So they like to do this thing where they make the characters have free light cones or 4-star light cones. They're all E0, right? They're all E0, and then the 4-stars are E6. So you're already limiting a lot of characters because some characters aren't going to do too well. Like if you cut off Boot light cone, he's using a 3-star light cone, right? So he's going to be severely nerfed versus someone like Firefly, who's their signature light cone and the free light cone are not too far off, right? So this is already like kind of a flaw in their whole tier list, right? I'm not saying it's awful and bad, but it's already something that's like a little rough, right? But let's go back up. Hopefully they're not too like, oh well, you need premium units. Be like, yeah, but like, you know, why is it docking on that much? You know, and like some people can straight up just not have Ting Yun because you just never pulled Ting Yun. You know, Ting Yun was never free. I don't think she was ever free. Right? Clara is going up by 0.5. Clara's performance is really stable and she really drops below 30k. Points regardless of the buff and enemy setup. She's also very flexible and working well in multiple setups, whether it's double DPS or hypercarry team. On top of that, she can be played without any limited characters. They're really leaning into the limited character stuff, aren't they? Because what we raised her to T1, almost a T2. And so much attention she will continue to observe. She's planning to jump to the Apex bracket. If they actually put Clara in the Apex bracket and it's not because of this follow-up buff and they keep Acheron at tier 1, I'm so sorry. Whoever is doing the tier list, please actually play the video game. That's all I ask, bro. Maybe I'm blinded by like having an E2 Acheron, but that is absurd that you're really gonna just like, oh, Clara's so good because she doesn't need premium units, and oh, Acheron's like leagues better than her, but since you have to run a 5-star with her that you have to summon for her, she's actually knocked out. Like, how much are you gonna cater to the free-to-plays for the point where your tier list is just no longer accurate, right? Like you know, I don't know, man. Like, it's not even a tier list, it's more of a, well, it is a tier list, but it's almost more of a free-to-play tier list in a sense. I mean, I haven't seen anywhere that is a free-to-play tier list besides the fact that they're all E0, right? But you're really docking characters for needing a 5-star. Like, at that point, it's like, okay, Ruin Mei shouldn't be tier 0 because, you know, I still use Arlen and I still can't beat stuff. If she was really a tier 0 support, you know, she'd make it to where Arlen could go crazy. Oh, you're using a 5-star with Ruin Mei? No, you can't actually do that. That's not, you know, the fact that you have to use a 5-star, Ruin Mei is actually going down tier. It's like, okay, bro, what? Like, what are you talking about? I don't know, man. Let's go up. I do think Clara deserves to be higher up just because of this pure fiction buff, though. So I will give her that, right? Topaz, despite being completely single target follow-up character, has proven herself to be asked to multiple of the top pure fiction damage dealers, namely Himiko, Herta, and Clara. Topaz seeming particular strong performance in pure fiction. I feel like just to save time on the video, I don't need to read anymore. Himiko and Herta being tier 0 and Topaz helping them out, especially with the bigger enemies. I can see it. I can already see it. You know, plus the fact that, I mean, she went from tier 3 to tier 1.5. It's kind of crazy, but the follow-up attack buff does help her. I'm not going to go over that too much. I think she definitely deserves that. Not only is she helping out with the buff doing a bunch of damage, but she's helping out the 2 best DPS for pure fiction. That's fair, right? Then, let's see. Asta. Asta consistently scores above 30k points. She's featured in a plethora of teams, always placing in May. Yada yada. Yeah, that's fair. You know, Asta, fine. Hanya. Performance last phases, we're basically looking off to pair with Argenti. All I need to know. That's fair, right? Acheron. Alright, this is where I'm very curious. Actually, let's skip Acheron really quickly. Just because this is really small and I want to wrap up the video with Acheron. Sadly, the Space Cobra struggles in perfection even more than we anticipated on its release, and we're dropping him down to a tier to the Forgotten bracket because honestly we all struggled to find a niche there where we could use it in perfection. That's fair. Physical MC, now that Magic MC took them out by someone, there's really no reason to use the original version of MC and we're dropping to Forgotten tier. That's actually mega valid. Wukong still be using Cooler, Daniel, and other modes. In Pure Fiction, he struggles really hard and his impacts Wukong's usage and performance. Because of that, we're dropping here. Okay, fair. Natasha, not only in Pure Fiction healers have a rough time as they don't really need them, she brings something else to the table compared to other sustained options, so we're dropping her to Forgotten tier. Poor Natasha, you served us well. I don't know about served us well, but I guess that's okay. We're also looking to Gallagher as he has potential to jump to tier 0. Oh, I mean, actually, that's fair. That's actually fair. I was about to be like, whoa, that's crazy. Acheron. Yeah, video's already 12 minutes long. Goddamn. Tier 0.5 to Tier 1. Acheron's performance dropped in recent phases when you look at teams that aren't part of the Doctron team archetype. I read this and was like, alright, buddy, we gotta hop into the video. Honestly, it's the only team where she shines nowadays in Pure Fiction. Huh? It's the only team where she shines nowadays in Pure Fiction. So we're just gonna forget Pele exists. Right? We're just gonna forget that you could use just a bunch of debuff units. I dropped my glasses. I literally took them off to lean forward. Honestly, it's the only team where she shines nowadays in Pure Fiction. I might have to make a damn video on that because that actually annoys me. When you look at her performance without Black Swan and or Kafka, she barely reaches 25k points. Barely reaches 25k points? Really? Really? Well, we'll see. You know, if I bring her and even at E2 she just sucks, bro, I'll give it to him. But really, I highly doubt that. On average, it is neither the follow-up attack team or dot buffs help with her ultimate-oriented playstyle. Still, the Doctron team is one of the best. Wait, this is the first time they mention it, right? Or dot buffs. Oh, okay, for the 2, right? That's like the first time they mentioned the buff of the Pure Fiction. Okay. So the Doctron team is one of the 2 best teams to use during the dot phase while still being competitive in the follow-up attack phase. He's scoring 30k points but because Acheron's reliance on the limited ability duo, we're dropping her from the Apex bracket as we expected the character there to be able to brute force the content regardless of the current buffs and without relying on carried by others. So I don't know about that, man. So what they're saying is Acheron is tier 1 because she's can't be carried by other units, and she's tier 1 because she needs limited 5-star characters, unlike Argenti, Clara, right? But why are we doing it like that? I'm gonna be honest with you. Himiko gets a lot damn worse when you don't pair with Ruin Mei. When you pair with Ruin Mei, Himiko is like Himiko, Herta, Ruin Mei. Disgusting ass team. Guess what? You know what makes that team really fucking good? Ruin Mei. So are we knocking down Herta and Himiko a few points because they rely on Ruin Mei a lot? Are we knocking down Black Swan and Kafka because they need each other? Are we knocking down Jade because, oh, shocker, she wants to be paired with other 5-star, characters? Oh, are we knocking down freaking Donhang? I mean, Donhang already like super low, right? Because Sparkle is his best buddy, and Sparkle's another 5-star. Oh, Jingyun, sorry, you can't use Sparkle anymore. Sorry, you gotta go. Oh, Firefly, nope, you run me. You gotta go down. Why are they so like nitpicky on Acheron having 5-star teammates, and even bringing up the buffs not being good for her, but they don't mention. Well, I guess they sort of mentioned like, oh, she does good in other modes or other like passives. I don't know, man. I think their overall tier list has shifted a bit too much, right? Because when you make a tier list, right, no one's gonna be happy. It is what it is. But you have to be pretty specific on what you're doing the tier list on, right? If you do best DPS, you just gotta be like, okay, are we talking about just overall them DPS or like high CPS in the game, right? Because if you asked at one point, you'd be like, okay, best DPS in the game, you say like Kafka, right? Because dot team go crazy, and then you'd be like, oh, disclaimer, best DPS, this would be the team, right? And then you can kind of like hit everything, right? But when you do a general tier list like this for Pure Fiction, and you're like not including the buffs, you're including the buffs sometimes, you're limiting them to free light cones and 4-star light cones, and then you're limiting them to, oh, they use too many 5-stars. You got to be like very specific with that. The criteria: manual play using optimal team composition and support characters. Okay, why is the criteria using optimal team composition and support characters? Why would it matter if some of her teams are bad? If she has a team that is insanely good, she'd be 0.5 or tier 0, right? So you already have to change that. With level 80 non-limited 4 or 5-star light cones, including the standard light cones. Okay, so at least they get that. But like, I feel like I said before, you're just nerfing characters into the ground because some characters just don't have that option. Like I said, like Boothill, right? Boothill's light cone is super good, but with this criteria, he doesn't get it, meaning he's using a 3-star one, right? Comparing to someone, like I said before, Firefly, who has a light cone that's free that does pretty similar stuff to her own light cone, right? So you're just actively like, Acheron can't use her light cone, so she gets 1 less point in her ultimate, which is gonna hurt her, right? Compared to someone who, let's just say Clara's best light cone is her own, right? For this scenario, but Clara gets her very own, right? So Acheron just like, oh, well, I would be way better than you, but you're just limiting her to, oh, she needs more 5-stars. Oh, she can't use her own light cone. Oh, Clara has the buff, for Acheron, I guess. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. This video is also way longer than I wanted it to be, but I just had to start yapping. I think they gotta redo their entire tier list. They gotta fix up their criteria. Using optimal team composition support characters, yet talking about it is just so crazy. They gotta reword their criteria. They gotta be more specific with what Pure Fiction, Memory Chaos, and Apocalypse Shadow they are doing, so people know that this is the tier list for the current one and not a general list. I know, but not a lot of other people are gonna know. Maybe some more specifications when you hover over the characters could be nice. Obviously, I don't know how to program a website, so I don't know how hard that would be, but I feel like they gotta update the criteria and stuff, bro. They got it, because they're just like contradicting themselves, shooting themselves in the foot, and some of their takes are just very, very rough to agree with. But anyway, that'll be it for the video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. You think I'm right? You think they're right? Can you agree with some of their points? Do you not agree with their points? Let me know in the comments, and of course, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Star Wars content.